Hey motorized bike enthusiasts, it's Ben with Pulsar 2121. You might have guessed what we're doing today. It's a high compression racing head, and it will be awesome. Stay tuned. Alright, so here is our high compression head. As you can see, it has a lot more cooling fins than the standard head here, which equates to a lot better cooling and eventually, indirectly, more power. And also, as you can see here, the dome on this one is quite a bit lower than the stock head, which means that the stroke to compression ratio is higher on this, which means more energy will be put out. So, let's get started. I've already cut the cap off of one of the old head nuts, so we have the ability to do the double nut method here, like we did on the other parts earlier. Alright, we're going to be really careful not to scratch the piston rings. We don't want to lose any compression. We're trying to gain compression. So we're just going to screw this first nut on. Alright, and then we'll put on the second one. And then we just tighten them into each other like we did last time. Okay, that's nice and tight. Now we'll just loosen from the bottom nut and it should pull right out. Just like that. Now we're just going to repeat the process for the other three studs. Okay, now we want to clean off the piston with a clean rag here. Get rid of any metal pieces that may have showed up from porting and polishing, or any dirt that was in the air. Just get it all nice and clean, really delicate. Next, what we're going to do is, see these slots on the piston rings? We need to rotate those at opposite ends here. Oh, actually these ones have pre-made grooves here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a really small dot there. So we're going to line up the piston rings to that dot. That is their natural center point on this motor. Okay. And now we're going to put on the jug, which is still clean because I cleaned it off in the port and polish video. Want to make sure we have the exhaust in front and intake and back, unless you're running a reverse jug for some reason. Usually use a piston ring compressor here, but this piston's so small I don't think I have one small enough to fit, so I'm going to have to be a little creative here when I put this on. You notice I'm not using gloves because one, I don't want dirt in here, and two, I need to be really careful to get this ring compressed the right way. That requires fingers. Alright. I'll just push that in, then put that down. There we go. Ring number one is done. Now it's a good idea to double check, make sure the other one's still lined up. It is. Okay, don't worry about that gasket for now. You really don't want to damage the sleeve when you do this, so you have to be really careful. There. Oh, almost. Okay. Now we'll see this side. There. Okay. Now we got our jug started. Okay, now we're just going to line the gasket back up. I believe it was like this. Yep, the oil mark was on that hole. Okay. And very carefully push this down. I'm going to add a little bit of WD-40 to make sure I don't scratch the walls or the sleeve of the jug here. Be very careful. It's a good idea to turn it like this so you don't get any big vertical lines. Okay. Okay, very carefully. There we go. Whew! That was a lot of work. We did it, and we didn't ruin anything. Here we go. Our high compression head. Let's see, I'm going to put it this way so the air pushes through it while I'm going down the road. And then put our head gasket there. That's actually a little dirty. I'm gonna wipe that off. Now some people on the forums talk about removing the head gasket to get a little bit extra compression, but I don't really advise to do that. I think you're going to see some issues if you remove the head gasket. Maybe not in performance wise, but when you go to take the head off in the future to do maintenance, it is going to be more difficult, and you might fuse the aluminum and ruin the head for future use. And since this is not a cheap head, I am not going to do that. Alright, there we go. Washer, lock washer, and screw. Okay. Looks like my gasket's a little out of alignment. There we go. Okay, and then we'll just do the same for each of the rest here. Alright, now we're going to tighten down those head bolts. Alright, now they're all tightened down. Whew, that was a workout. Now, I'm just going to kind of torque spec these here real quick. I don't have a torque wrench here at the moment, and honestly I don't even know if there is a torque rating on these motors. They're just, they don't give you a lot of specs. So I kind of use the thumb method here. Put your thumb out, and then when you feel a lot of pressure on your thumb, that's how you know it's time to stop. Just little bits at a time here. If you feel it getting less grip, you stop immediately, because that means you're pulling the threads out. You don't want to do that. That one's really tight. Now I might go back to that other one. Check this. Okay, that one's tight, really tight. That one was a little loose. Okay, that one's tight. So this is the last one here. Alright, now they are all torqued down. And there is our high compression head. Alright guys, thanks for joining for today's episode. So we got a lot done. The motor will be faster, that is for sure. We just put on our first speed part. So stay tuned, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. This has been Ben with Pulsar 2121 Games.